This is just a quick video to show you some of the little shortcuts, hints and tips on adjusting the display and what's visible on the screen to make it as efficient as possible for you to work in the Professional Plus edition of GetBookedUp. Obviously the menu bar across the top, and if you click these you get into other options, and then the search bar below there as well. Now what you'll find in GetBookedUp is there's quite a few areas where you'll see a little button like this that's got a drop down arrow on it, and if you click those, that just changes the function in that area. So at the moment it's looking at to search for postcode. If you change that to street, now it'll be searching for street. So if you, whatever your preference is, you can set those up there, and it's just so that we can make the most of the screen space by putting these multifunction buttons in to allow you to change that to various different things. And you'll see some other areas in the system where we use that same function as well as I work through this video. So if I just open a sample client record, and what you'll see in here is there's grids like this on the contact log in several of the areas. So for instance on the quotations tab and the jobs tab, these grids in here. If I just go back to that client detail tab there and work on the contact log, what we've done is made these very flexible so that depending on your screen size and what information you want to see, you can adjust these to suit yourself. So the width can be adjusted by just grabbing hold of the header, the line in the header, and then dragging that left or right to stretch those open or close those up. So again, it just allows you to maximize and customize the screens to suit you, and your individual PC will remember those settings when you exit the system and come back in, so the next time you come back in it'll remember how you saved all those grid headers. Now we talked about we've gone for a modern browser type system within the interface. So we can see that this is Mr. Simmons' record and this is his client tab that's open. If I just open for instance the marketing, the easy mailing facility, you can see how that's opened, and that is again on a separate tab here. So I can click back into Mr. Simmons' record or click back into the easy mailing just by jumping backwards and forwards from these tabs here. So again, we've made it so that you can have several things happening at once within the system. So for instance, if you are working in the easy mailing and the phone rings, you can click new client and still open a new client record and then come back to the easy mailing and carry on from where you'd left off to answer the phone. Now obviously you can have multiple of these tabs open and multiple client records open if you wish. Obviously it slows it down a little bit if you've got too many open, but it just gives you the flexibility to work on several screens. The way you can work on several screens is by, if you for instance right click on the tab, you can click detach tab, and that will actually put that tab in a separate window. Now I've got a multi-monitor display set up here, so I can pick that up and move that. Now you can't see this, but that's actually on a separate monitor on my other screen. So if I want, I can bring that back in, and then I can just close that down as well. So it gives you a lot of flexibility, particularly if you're using the diary system live in your office. You can open the diary, put that on a detached tab by right clicking and clicking detach tab, and then moving that onto a second monitor. So you can constantly have your diary on view, and then you can have client records open and things in your other display. So that's just another little useful tip that's in GetBookedUp. One of the other things you'll see as well is there's a little box that says keep open, and if I show you where that is or where that appears on some of the screens, I'm just going to search for a client record. So this has brought the client search screen up as I've done the search in the top, because there's multiple records for Mr. Simmons. Now in a lot of the screens you'll see this box here that says keep open and a little tick box. If I was to tick that, when I open a client's record now, instead of this tab closing and it opening the client's record, you can see it's opened the client record there. What it's also done is kept that tab open in the background, so you can go straight back to this and open the next record on here as well. And that's useful if you're using some of the things like the follow-ups and things like that within the system, whereby you want to work down the list and work through them. So that the keep open, you'll see that in several areas within the various screens. So if I just close those records down, a couple of other things about the grid displays. So if I go to this quotations tab in the client record to demonstrate these, you'll see that on the grid header, so this grey bar at the top, you'll see there's a little minus symbol in the box there. If I tick that, that closes up that section of the screen. when it's a plus, you can just tick that and it open it up, and that's to give you flexibility on which parts of the screen you want visible at various different times when you're working on quotations. And equally, for instance, in the item detail section here, we've got the service groups carpets and the service groups leather, and you can see there's a little minus symbol there. Again, they work in exactly the same way to close up the carpets to make more space visible for the leather or other items, and then ticking the plus opens them up again. Now the interesting thing is, if you tick the click the negative and close it up, it still does show that there's the gross totals there for the items. So it's still showing you that there's items there and the totals for those. So that's worth bearing in mind. And you'll actually only get these service headers on, so things like the carpets and the leather, if there's items in that category to be displayed. Just coming back to those multifunction buttons where we're using them to make the most of the screen. If you go up to the top right hand side here, you'll see there's a button here, and there's a drop down box alongside. There's the same little button with the drop down symbol. If we click onto there, there's lots of these in the system where you can make a choice, click the option, and that turns that button into that option, and then when you click that, that will print the quotation. Obviously if you choose something else, that chooses that, and when you click that, it will print the different form that's there. So that's just a way that we've put in many options in just a very small screen space. And coming back to the grids here, for instance, the item details for quote number 12 here, where it says show all, there's the drop down box alongside, and you can actually choose to just show carpets if you want to just show the carpets, or just the leather if you want to show the leather, or again you can change that back to all. And again, this will remember what your preferred option is when you come back into this client's record as well. So that's it. I just wanted to show you those other little things on how to customize the screen layout and the look of things, and just to make it a little easier to use the system as you start setting it up and working through some of the other tutorials.